hate this fucking road. It's so fucking annoying. I am doing my inner thought that I put outside, which I do a lot when I'm alone. And I'm doing it in English. It's for your benefit. It's actually for your benefit. Oh, this. I'm hot and warm and cold at the same time. My hands are freezing. My arms are super warm. I fucking hate it. At the same time, like I love it, and I feel like the cold air entering the lower part of my sweater. It's just like this mix of all these feelings. Let me think of some original music for you. Well, oh my god, this fucking cycling fucking sucks. So fucking broken. They're gonna remove it. They're not gonna fix it. They're gonna remove it. Oh, it's a little fuck. I think they never redid this part. I think it was just like how the road was. It was like, I'm gonna paint it a little bit, pretend I'm fixing something, and like make a bike lane out of it. And it's just like, I remember in Buenos Aires, like the thing is that I started like when I was like 15, 16, and I started cycling. It was like when they rolled out pretty simultaneously like all the bike lanes plus the free bikes. And I remember the bike lanes were so nice because they had redone the later on they stopped doing this, but at the beginning I remember like it was the conservative government that did this, but they were trying to like gentrify the city and make it more likable for tourists. That was like a huge part of it. And like tourists love fucking bikes. And a lot of people used bikes, but there were no bike lanes. So like, I don't want to say the wrong year, but I'm guessing 2015 was like 2016, 17 were like peak years of this. And based on my own recollection, and like they would fucking favorite puddles, man. They would give me 1 second. They did like, it was a huge bike lane system. It was like incredible. People say like, yeah, this government sucks, but they did build this huge bike lane system. It was pretty good. And you know how like, okay, we're gonna pass through, and you know there's like this green thing that we're biking over? They did like, all the bike lanes were made of this material. And so like, you would get on your bike, the bike lane, all the streets are broken or like cobblestones, okay? So you would get on the bike lane and it was so smooth and so nice. And I don't know, it just like made cycling desirable. Like, and also like a lot of people that usually wouldn't cycle started cycling because of this. Or I had friends that couldn't afford a bike, but thanks to this, like, they would just bike fucking everywhere. It was great that I had here. My first bike accident was like, it was in Argentinian, Buenos Aires, nighttime. I was wearing headphones, but I was wearing my helmet. And it was like super chill night, it was snow, and I was just riding, okay? And like, it was a double way bike lane. So then on one side of the street, bikes are going 2 ways, which is most common in Argentina. We don't have this thing of like bike lane on one side of the street and bike lane on the other side. No, they're mostly 2 ways, bike lanes. You have those in like big connecting avenues, like huge, the ones that are like super wide, like 6 fucking lanes. In those you'll have a one way, because also that avenue is one way, and it's like, I don't know, to avoid accidents, because cars are going faster. But if it's a street, cars are not supposed to be going that faster, we'll just do a two-way. Okay, it was nighttime, and I see like there's a red light, but it was not for me. Okay, it was like I had green light, and I see a pedestrian that's gonna cross the street that I'm on, but she's just standing there because she has a red light, right? So I checked, and so I was like, oh, she's not gonna cross because she can't. And then I was like 16, I want to say. I was pretty young. I was coming back from like a friend hangout or something, and like I was going pretty fast, and she like I had already started to cross, and she crosses the street. As I'm like reaching where she is, she doesn't look both ways. She only looks one way, like checks that no cars are coming from the other side. Doesn't check the side I'm on. So we like crash into each other. And like I like fly over the bike. Like I started stopping, but it was too late. Like I wasn't able to fully stop. So I didn't hit her full speed, but I pushed her over, and I also fell to the ground. But I was wearing a helmet. She wasn't. And she was fine. Like, she wasn't hurt, but I was really scared she had hurt her head or something. I was like I went to this restaurant that was like next door and got some water for her and whatever. But I was like, okay, I'll stay with you. She was like there were people that saw it, and they were like, you're fine. Like, she was like crossing the street, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. And she tells me like, why'd you go? And I was like, you were crossing the street wrong. And she was like, I'm fine. And I was like, okay, I'll stay with you. Let's go to like emergency room. Yeah. She's like, no, my friend here's around the corner. He'll pick me up. Yeah, I left. And I always feel shit about that. So I think again, like my accident here was like Carnival parked, sugar tracks. Yeah, like there's things with it that I'm like, oh, I should have been more aware, da da da. But I was like, I knew right in Canada, and then like I remember the paramedics, and then people have told me this a million times, like, oh, your bike got caught in the sugar track. Classic. Damn. Those clementines look so good. I love clementines. I do miss, weird thing I miss about Argentina is that during clementine season, people just like open clementines in class or in the bus, just eating them there. And so like a lot of spaces just smell like clementines. And here rarely happens, but once in a while, a nice human starts eating in the clementine in the subway. And I am so happy. I'm just like taken to this place of happiness and just like joy. I was wondering, I saw this video of like the ambulance riding in the bike lane, and the bike lane on that was like so thin, so skinty, and I was like, no fucking way the ambulance fell. Okay, no fucking way the ambulance fits there. And I was thinking like maybe here down they're wider, and they are. They're wider than down. Crazy stuff, eh? Why is your bike parked here, bro? I don't think there's a bike lane. Wait, let me check. Yeah, it was like recreational cycling, so I don't know. It's like next to the I don't know, the shore. Oh, this is a sidewalk. But there was no. Well, that sucks. There was no signage saying get off your bike. And then we wouldn't just like blame because of sidewalk. There should be signs that like get off your bike, mate. I rode pretty slow, and I realized that also I'm not as tired as I thought I was gonna be. And I haven't ridden my bike in like a month or something. But I also know that usually I get very competitive, and like if I have other cyclists around me like going really fast, I'm like, I gotta be fast. And so like I really I got a squirrel. Hello, sir. You're so nice. Yeah, here's good. This is nice. Because, like, pedestrians there, cyclists here. I walked this the other day. And now, sorry, girls. Oh, yeah, I get really competitive. I'm just like, I want to go real fast. I want to make it. And I'm always like, pushing myself to the limit, but I should do that when I'm not commuting. When I'm commuting, it's a bad idea because I'm exhausted. And when I'm not commuting, when I do that, then like I can stop for long periods of time and like I don't have to be anywhere, so I don't care. But when I'm commuting, it's like, oh, I'm late. I have to keep pushing. And that. It's always a really bad idea. Don't do that, folks. But I'm not tired. I'm like, oh, maybe I can commute to school.
My name is Francesca. I'm a student at OCAD, Integrated Media, and I live here in Toronto. After a long time, I'm starting to feel like at home here. On my last time I was in Argentina, there was like, I was very excited to be there, but I reached a point I was like, oh, I need to go home. And that was very strange. I remember I learned how to bike on a downhill. That was really scary. And it always, like biking, I remember I was really scared all the time. And then one day I just started doing it and it was easy. I would bike a lot in my grandma's farm and like always liked it a lot. Always would ride bikes that were not my size. So it was interesting. And then I started biking a lot in high school when, especially when there were like free bikes. They were introducing at the time as the city bikes, like they were taxpayers bikes. And you just needed to, I think you had an account and you just would go to a station and unlock it and you could ride for 30 minutes for free. And after that you had to pay. But what most people did was just like find like other stations in those 30-minute intervals and just log it back in, take a new one. I remember once seeing a map of how many people used those bikes and it was like this crazy amount of colors all across the city. And I used to use them a lot because like it's very common for your bike to get stolen. So like I would never lock my bike on the street there and like your bike is gonna get stolen. So unless I know that I'm going somewhere where I can leave my bike inside at my friend's place, I will not take my own bike. I would rather, especially at the time, use those city bikes. I missed it a lot, and independence. I miss like, oh, I have some, it doesn't happen to me as much because I don't live close to downtown, but it does happen to me that I want to go to places that are close by even, and I just, I can't because I don't have a bike. And I would depend on TTC, which is like here in Scarborough for like something in your bike that is 20 minutes, it takes you like 40 to an hour by TTC, and I'm like, I'd rather just take my bike there. Like, why can't I bike there? I will, especially with things that are short distance, I would always do it on my bike. And also like, I enjoy it. Like it's my main, especially during like warmer times, it's my main exercise. And I was missing riding, I was missing like the air in my face, like I was missing the feeling in my body a lot. Like a month after I moved here, I was like, I need to buy a bike. It was so important to me to own my own bike. So it was like, I really got like focused on that. And I remember I got like a really shitty bike. I didn't like it, so it sucked to ride in Toronto. But yeah, I think it's very beautiful, and it's also this thing of like, it's not just you, it's you and the bike. Like the bike, has a body. And in that relationship with this other body, you have to listen to it, you have to notice what it's asking of you. If you make it do stuff that it doesn't like doing, you are gonna fall, and it's not gonna be nice. Like you have to understand it as well, and you create a relationship. And that's why like I've had bikes that I hated and bikes that I love. Like bikes that are good for me and I'm good for them, and like bikes that are not good for me and I'm not good for them, and we have a terrible time together, and another person is gonna love that bike. And also I discovered that the city is very hilly, which Buenos Aires is pretty plain. Like there's a slight hills, but I remember I would always complain like, oh, this is a bit too hilly, and now when I'm here I'm like, I had it good. It was easy. So biking here at the beginning was pretty scary, especially going downhill, because they have huge inclines, and I'm always scared of flipping over. So I sometimes struggle, I sometimes get off. I find my own ways of continuing to be comfortable, which is what's very important at the beginning. Like at the beginning, I started developing all these little techniques to not be as scared riding in the city. Different kinds of aggressive. They're all aggressive, in different ways. In here, cars are much bigger than they are in Buenos Aires. So I always also fear that they cannot see me because of their size. In Buenos Aires, they will openly ignore you sometimes. They do not like bikes at all, but also they don't care about pedestrians. So pedestrians have priority, but they don't have priority. When you're crossing a street, you wait till the cars stop coming, or I would constantly go into this, putting my hand out into traffic and looking into people's eyes, being like, okay, run me over. So they don't care about pedestrians, least of all do they care about bikes. That's why bike lanes are so important in Buenos Aires. I would always try to use the bike lanes, because you would have a little bit of a
curb?
Yeah, a little bit of a curve between the drivers and the bike, and that way you feel more protected. Yeah. I had a time that I would ride to high school every day, and it gets cold, 2 degrees, but it's not like here. I know people that ride in the snow, and they always tell me it's fine, you can do it, but I'm always like, I don't know, I don't trust myself in that. Maybe eventually, give me a couple of years of being here and trusting. I don't feel myself in the snow as much. I am still getting acquainted with it. I think that a lot of times people fear riding, but it can be a short ride. It can be I remember I had a bike accident, and it was really hard to do long rides, but I was just okay, what do I feel comfortable with? I would just ride around the neighborhood and just slowly, within a day, I started riding around the neighborhood. I was I want to ride a little bit farther, and then I ended up in fucking Tom Thompson Park that day. But it took me multiple hours to get back on a main street and whatever, and then multiple days to feel more comfortable in it. But I think it's a question of practice. A lot of people say I'm scared of the road, and I think first of all you can always prioritize bike lanes and try to use mostly bike lane roads, or you can use roads that are just recreational mostly. And I do think that it can be to not have cars around, it can be super releasing, and just it is at a point relaxing. My favorite time for riding is nighttime, and I really it is, for me, riding my bike is very sensory. People are always I remember my doctor used to tell me she was what do you do? And I was oh, I ride my bike. It's oh, do you wear headphones? And I'm never. And she was oh, you have to be safe, da da da. I do not care about that. Sometimes if I'm feeling shit, I put on headphones and put punk music and ride my bike with that. But I then I'm more focused on the feeling of the air in my skin. I really like going fast sometimes, so I can feel the air in my skin, and how it fills up my lungs so much faster, or the burning in my muscles, or I like noticing the how I cast my shadow in those moments, or if I'm with my headphones on, which is usually how I ride. The experience of sounds is so different, and also there's this balance between awareness of your surroundings associated with sound, and also the speed of sound, so catching conversations briefly. I really like to put a focus in my art on the sensory experiences, and more sound has become important to me. Even though I haven't done a lot of sound pieces, I always keep sound in mind when I'm making stuff. Even if it's quiet, then I'm thinking about it being quiet. And cycling has a lot to do with that. Also cycling, I sometimes it is I use it a lot to regulate emotions. If I'm very sad, I force myself out of my bed and I go cycling. And just even if it's for 20 minutes, and then just sit somewhere I ran into. But it is thanks to my bike that I end up where I am. And so like, and in those moments, like those are moments for creativity for me, where I also like to cycle and experience nature with that cycling. So, and nature is very important to my art practice. So I just like, yes, it is connected to my art practice because it is connected to my body and how I experience my body. And how I experience my body is very important in my art practice. I love cycling because like, I also sometimes like, it lets me think. Even though like, I can follow like one stream of thought and I maybe just think repeating a conversation in my mind, but I'm cycling. Like, and it helps it be one conversation and not multiple conversations in my mind. And that's always very helpful. I remember once I was really angry at a friend and I was like, anger cycling. And then there was this super steep hill and I was so tired. I had been cycling for like an hour. And I was just like, I cannot do this fucking hill. So I go, like, I'm carrying my bike and I start like preparing what I'm gonna say to them, speaking out loud, and I was all sweaty and I was like, and fuck you because you said that. And then I finished climbing up the hill and get on my bike and start cycling and I'm like, I'm not even angry at them anymore. Like, I'm done, like I did that. I'm done.
Is that good? I can see myself.
Yeah.
You look kind of funny.
Yeah. With the helmet or just in general?